Hey there. I want to talk to you about something that probably feels really heavy on your heart right now. Listen, if she is pulling back from you, acting like she is a million miles away, or suddenly seems cold as ice, I know exactly where your head goes. Your first thought is likely that she is losing interest in you. You might worry that she has found someone else to spend her time with. Or you keep replaying every conversation in your head, wondering what you did wrong. But what if I told you the complete opposite might be true? What if the reason she is creating all this space between you isn't because she does not care, but because she actually cares way too much? It sounds a bit backwards, doesn't it? And here is where things get truly wild. There is one very specific way she might act that 90% of men think means she is totally done with them. Most guys see this behavior and think the relationship is over. But the truth is, it is actually the biggest, clearest sign that she is falling for you in a huge way. I am going to reveal exactly what that behavior is in just a little bit. But before we get there, you really need to understand why your brain is built to misread her signals. It is not your fault, but the way we are wired makes us see these signs all wrong. See, when a woman starts to have very deep feelings, she doesn't always run toward you. Sometimes she actually falls back. It is like she is stepping away to catch her breath because things are getting so intense. If you misunderstand that signal and think she is leaving, you might try to chase her or get upset, and that will actually push her away when she was really just trying to pull herself together. I want to show you exactly how to tell the difference between a woman who is genuinely not interested and a woman who is just feeling emotionally overwhelmed. I also want to share the one thing you should never ever do when she starts acting distant. If you do this one thing even a single time, you will basically prove all her worst fears about you were right. This is not just me trying to give you false hope. This is about looking at how people really think and feel at a level that most men never get to see. I want you to stay with me as we walk through this together, because a bit later on, I am going to share the actual scientific reason why the women who love you the most often end up acting the coldest toward you. It has nothing to do with what you are probably thinking right now, why she pulls away when she loves you. Let's start with something that almost every man gets wrong. We need to talk about the real reason she is acting distant and why it might actually be the best sign you could ever ask for. This part of how our minds work might really shock you. Imagine this for a moment. Not long ago, she used to text you all the time. You had all these little inside jokes that made you both laugh, and you had those deep late-night talks that felt like they could go on forever. Then, out of nowhere, the vibe changes. Her replies get shorter and take longer. She always seems to be busy when you want to hang out. Even the warmth in her voice sounds like it has a wall standing right behind it. Naturally, you start to panic. You feel like you are losing her. So you try even harder. You send more texts. You put in more effort. And you try to give her more and more reassurance. But somehow, the more you try to get close, the more distant she becomes. It feels like trying to hold on to sand. The tighter you squeeze, the faster it slips through your fingers. Here is what is actually going on inside her heart. And I know it sounds a bit strange at first. When a woman realizes she is falling for you, I mean really truly falling, her survival instincts start to scream at her. Why? Because being vulnerable in the world of dating today feels like handing someone a loaded tool and just hoping they don't use it to hurt you. She has been hurt before. She has seen other relationships fall apart into tiny pieces. She has watched herself lose control of her own feelings in the past and ended up getting burned. And now with you, she feels it all happening again. That feeling of being totally open, that terrifying loss of control over her own heart. There is a real thing that happens in the brain that will blow your mind. It is something a group of caring experts calls emotional flooding. When this happens, her brain literally cannot tell the difference between the feeling of falling in love and the feeling of being in actual danger. This explains everything. When she starts to have these deep, powerful feelings for you, the part of her brain that handles fear, the amygdala starts to light up. It reacts exactly the same way it would if she were facing a real threat in the wild. Her heart starts racing, her stress hormones spike, and her body is basically screaming at her, "Protect yourself." So, what is her natural reaction? She creates distance to try and get her power back. This isn't her trying to be mean or play a game with you. This isn't some trick. This is biology. It is how she is built to stay safe. 9 out of 10 men have no idea this is what is happening under the surface. She isn't rejecting who you are as a person. She is trying to protect herself from the scary possibility that you might reject her first. And here is the really interesting part. The more she is attracted to you, the stronger this fear response becomes. This means if you want to know if she truly loves you, the answer isn't to push her harder. You have to learn how to read the sign she is giving off, the one sign everyone gets wrong. There is one sign in particular that is so the opposite of what you would expect, that when I tell you about it, you might think I am making it up. But before we get to that, let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how she acts totally different around you compared to how she acts around other guys? Maybe she seems colder or more guarded with you, but she is warm and friendly with everyone else. If you have seen this, please listen closely because it is not what you think. I want to tell you the truth because you deserve to know what is really going on. Here is the sign that actually proves she loves you too much. And I know it sounds a bit crazy. The sign is that she is meaner to you than anyone else in her life. Now, I don't mean she is being abusive or disrespectful to you. What I mean is that she feels more comfortable calling you out on things. She is more willing to disagree with you, more likely to tease you, or more likely to challenge what you say. Why does this matter so much? Because when a woman is just a little bit interested in you, she stays very polite. She stays pleasant and agreeable because she is still wearing a mask. She keeps her real personality tucked away because she hasn't decided if you are worth the emotional risk yet. But when she is in deep, she starts treating you like you are already hers. She will tease you and roast you. She will call you on your nonsense. She drops that perfect girl act and starts showing you the real her flaws, bad moods, and all. Deep down, she is subconsciously testing to see if you can handle her when she isn't at her best. She wants to know if you will stick around even when she is being difficult. Experts call this negative intimacy testing. It only happens when someone is really emotionally invested in you. Most guys see this and think she is being rude or losing interest, but she is actually doing the opposite. She is finally letting you in to see the parts of her she hides from the rest of the world. The 4 signs. She is overwhelmed by love. Now it gets even more interesting. There are 4 more signs that show she is feeling overwhelmed by how much she likes you. The 4th one is so specific and so easy to spot once you know what to look for that if you see it, you can be almost certain she is in love with you. Let's walk through these 4 signs, but please pay extra attention to number 4. If she is doing that one, you have to be very careful with how you handle it. If you make the wrong move there, you could lose her forever. Sign number 1, she creates distance, but still watches you from the sidelines. She might stop texting you first, and she might stop liking your pictures on social media. But here is the secret giveaway. She is still the first person to watch your stories or check your updates. Even when she thinks you won't notice, she is still checking in on you. She has pulled her body away, but her heart is still very much connected. This creates a conflict where she wants to be near you, but being near you feels too risky. So she stays in this middle zone, close enough to know what you are doing, but far enough away to feel like her heart is safe. Here is a little test. If you stopped posting anything for a whole week, she would probably be the first person to reach out to ask if you are okay. That is because your absence creates a bit of panic in her heart. Sign number 2. She gets very upset over very small things. Maybe you had to cancel plans because of a long day at work, and she reacts like it is a huge disaster. Or maybe you didn't text back for a few hours, and suddenly she is acting very cold toward you. You need to understand that this isn't her being petty or mean. This is her being invested. When someone doesn't care about you, they don't react to things like that. They don't mind if you cancel or forget to text. But when she is in deep, every little thing you do feels like a test of whether you still care. She isn't overreacting. She is showing you just how much power you have over how she feels. And that is what is scaring her so much. Sign number 3, she talks about the future, but then she takes it back right away. She might mention a concert coming up in a few months, or a place she wants to visit with you someday. But then almost immediately, she follows it up with something like, I mean, if we are still hanging out, then who knows? That is her fear talking. She is letting herself dream about a future with you, but then she gets scared and builds a wall to protect herself. She only does this because she is already thinking about a future with you all the time. She is just too afraid to admit it out loud. Sign number 4, she tells her friends the opposite of how she really feels. This one is truly wild, and you might find it hard to believe. When a woman is just casually dating you, she tells her friends everything. She shows them every text and asks them for advice. But when she is falling hard, she goes quiet. She tells them it is no big deal or that you are just a friend. Why? Because the moment she tells her friend she loves you, it becomes real. And if it is real, she can get hurt. She protects herself by pretending she doesn't care. You will know this is happening if her friends start acting a bit strange or extra observant around you. They know something she hasn't told you yet. They are watching to see if you are a good man who will treat her right. If you see this, she is in love with you. She is just terrified to say it, the one mistake that pushes her away. This is the most important part of our conversation today. Most men make a huge mistake here. When you realize she is overwhelmed by her feelings, your gut instinct is to try and fix it. You want to reassure her, tell her you love her, or push her to make a commitment. Please do not do that when she is feeling this way. Any kind of pressure, even if you mean well, feels like she is being suffocated. She needs to decide she can trust you on her own time. You cannot force safety, and you cannot use logic to make her feel secure. So what do you do instead? You give her consistency without any pressure. You don't chase after her, and you don't demand she explain why she is being distant. You don't get mad at her for needing space. You just stay steady. You show her that you are there, but you aren't going to smother her. You let her see that you aren't going anywhere, but you also aren't desperate. When she pulls back, you give her that room to breathe, but you don't disappear completely. You check in once in a while with something light and fun just to say, I'm still here, no pressure. There is a secret way to handle this that most guys never think of. It is about matching her pace. If she texts you every few days, you do the same. If she opens up a little bit, you open up a little bit too. This shows her that you have a lot of emotional intelligence. It shows you understand what she is going through, and it gives her the air she needs to fall for you without feeling like she is losing control of her life. The truth about timing. There is one more thing you need to know that will decide if she eventually opens up or walks away. Women who are overwhelmed by love have a timeline in their heads. It isn't a timeline for when to get married. It is a timeline for when they feel safe. She needs to see that you are the same guy over many weeks, not just a few days. She needs to see that you don't lose your cool when she is distant and that you don't become needy when she gets close. This isn't about playing a game. It is about proving that you are emotionally strong enough to handle her when she is at her most vulnerable. The beautiful part is that when she finally feels safe, those walls will come down. The love she has been fighting against will become the love she finally lets herself enjoy. The distance will go away, the coldness will melt, and suddenly she will be the one wanting to be near you. But you have to be patient enough to let that happen on its own. Over time, her brain will stop seeing your love as a threat. She will stop running from the thing she wants most in the world. That is how you turn her fear into deep trust. I know this is all very confusing. When you care about someone, you just want them to be open and show you they feel the same way. But sometimes the biggest feelings are hidden behind the most complicated actions. She isn't avoiding you because she doesn't care. She is avoiding how much she actually does care. If you can see that and respond with kindness and patience instead of panic, you will become the safest place she has ever known. That is not just about winning her over. It is about being a man who understands that real love isn't always loud or obvious. Sometimes love is very quiet. Sometimes it is very scared. And sometimes it just needs a little bit of space to grow into something beautiful. If this felt like it was speaking directly to your situation, please leave a comment saying thank you so I know you are serious about understanding her heart. Please stay tuned as a group of caring experts continues to break down more ways to understand the people you love every single